Hey guys, welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to talk about how can you become an entrepreneur while moving overseas. And I will try to share you somehow my journey and how the different steps I've been through and how finally after 7-8 years things are kind of more stable. You really build assets, so you really build a company that after you don't need to get involved too much, and if you think properly, that company somehow work for you. I'm not saying it's 100% always that, and in many business lines you will still have to work. I still work a lot, but just because you like it, right? It's like, of course, the challenge and the business is there, but it's also first because you enjoy the journey. And usually, when you reach a plateau, then it starts to be tiring, and then you jump to a new business idea, a new opportunity. This is how I see the life as an entrepreneur. So maybe you are, I don't know, millennials, maybe you are Gen Z, and then maybe you are considering and you would like to become an entrepreneur. So you go on YouTube, you watch some very nice interviews of people who got success. It sounds very easy and it sounds like what everyone is chasing now. But there is a reality behind, and it's not always as nice as everyone want to show it. You will have challenges and then failure and then success, and then it's going to be really a roller coaster. And then I don't know any entrepreneur who always find the right direction, or the entrepreneur who find the right direction. The people I know, they were so bored, and so after they finally pivot and they did something totally different. And finally, they enjoy more the journey than really getting to the goal that they were aiming. So in this video, I will try to share you some of the personal things I did through my career / small entrepreneur at the beginning and now owning a company, and then correlate this to the fact that I move overseas. And I think there are patterns, and I think that you can find in entrepreneurs who are living overseas versus entrepreneurs who are staying in a special location and maybe think more local. So if right now you are considering moving abroad, and if at the same time you would like to launch your entrepreneurship journey, I think this video you may get some key takeaway from what I learned over the last 5 to 10 years. So the first thing that is very important is that when I was a corporate person, I took a part-time position. So instead of jumping directly to the entrepreneurship journey, I asked my previous boss to give me and to allow me to work part-time. And he was very nice, he was very understanding, and I really think you should try to ask. Obviously, those boss will, deep inside, they won't be so happy, right? Because you are leaving them, and maybe you were a good person, a good employee, and then seeing you leaving is going to be hard for them. But you have to take that risk, and you have to ask those boss that this idea that you have in mind is very important for you. And if your boss is understanding, then he may allow you to take part-time, and so you can keep to have a certain income while having a lot of time during your week to work on your business. And this is what I did for about 2 years in Paris. At that time I was working there, and then I was traveling every weekend to Grenoble, so it's in the middle of France. It took maybe 3 hours by train. So every Wednesday I was going there, and then I was working 2 days with my friend in Grenoble, and then plus the weekend, so we have somehow 4 days of work, weekend included. So this is something you have to know if you jump into your entrepreneurship journey. Don't think that you will be like Timothy Ferris, 4-hour work week after weeks. If you expect that, just stop thinking about being an entrepreneur, because I'm sure this is not for you when you are dreaming so much about entrepreneur being on the beach with their coconuts and a lifestyle business that everyone wants to sell you on Instagram and on YouTube now. So it's going to be a hard journey, right? You're going to work a lot, but the reward on the other side is there. Not necessarily in terms of income and salary that you can get from your business, but more for the learning journey. The first business that I launched with that friend, we worked hard for 2 years. We got about maybe 15 to 20 customers at the maximum. So we built software. It was an e-commerce somehow plugin that we plug, and we wanted to duplicate what Amazon was doing and plug that Amazon recommendation on the e-commerce website. And before, Shopify was not there. We were working on Magento and PrestaShop, the two main software and e-commerce platform for the people doing business and selling online. So we kind of work hard, and we had kind of good time, and we had less good time. Obviously, again, it's a roller coaster. But the most important thing is that it's going to help you to check what the market wants and to readjust yourself and to do some pivoting. And I think one of the key lessons I learned through this first experience of trying to be an entrepreneur was that we saw that we were having a very good product, and then when we were to check and to sell that product, finally the customer that we got, they like us as individuals, as people who were giving advice more than the software. So we will still be able to make money, right? We will still be able to get customers and get traction. But they were seeing us more as an agency, more as you hire an IT person, you hire someone who will take care of your marketing, but you won't really rent and buy the software. And I think it was a key lesson for me, because I found that even if we work hard, we saw that the product was perfect, and finally we didn't really get that product market fit. So it was the first lesson I learned. So again, you may fail and you will fail, and I think this is the part of the journey, and I even think more than that is that every entrepreneur should fail 1, 2, 3 times before really finding something that they are good at, developing their skills, and while they really find that little gem, they can really excel and make something good of that. So it was that first lesson, but finally, while doing that, while working with e-commerce people, I start to learn about digital marketing, SEO, how to build websites, and finally, how can you sell product online, right? So after a while, we stopped with that friend, this company, and I was somehow without anything. And then what did I do at that time? I had a customer from that first startup. And then that customer, we were kind of very close. And then luckily, I got an offer from that customer that he wanted to keep me as somehow a part-time employee. So I was somehow a consultant, and I was working for him. I was doing some IT development, some marketing, and then because I acquired some knowledge in the SEO, we were also discussing a lot, and I was sharing him what I was learning, and then trying to implement those kind of same actions on his website. And I could keep that customer for a year or a year and a half while moving to Asia. So at the beginning, when I came to Asia, I was a digital nomad. So I already had that initial customer. And then I came here while building other websites. So I was doing a little bit of freelancing. I had some other customers in France, because before leaving France, I also joined a marketing agency. So we were working, building websites. We were providing training and consulting for SMEs in south of France. So I was somehow working as a freelancer. So I had a contract base with that agency, but that agency was finding customer for me, and I was just going to the customer and providing them the training, the website, anything they wanted. So you see, first, you are an entrepreneur, you fail, you start to build a network around you, and building that network is the second thing that is, I think, very important, and the second lesson I learned while being an entrepreneur. It's like when you go to your first journey, it will never work for the first time, but you will acquire certain knowledge, you will acquire skills. I mentioned before all the SEO, the digital marketing, those skills. While I was learning about that, at the same time I was working for another agency as a freelancer, I could sell my services. So the more you jump into a new ecosystem, the more you will gather around you a network of people, and at the same time, the more you can sell products or services. So when I come finally to Asia, I had this backup plan, right? I had some relationship in France. I had that customer that took me for half of my week working for him. So I could focus the other part of the time for my own business. And at that time, during 4 years totally, I really focused in building websites. So sometimes it was a little bit of freelancing, so I was working for other companies. But most of the time, I build websites for myself. And after 5 years, I own around 50 websites. So I have 50 websites. It's different verticals. It can be health, beauty, real estate, finance, and on those websites, I was getting traffic and I was working as an affiliate. I will link another video that I made recently that I share with you some of the numbers and how much I can earn from those websites and how very important is it for my understanding to build an ecosystem of passive or semi-passive income while moving overseas. So that journey again took me 4 or 5 years. I'm still doing this, but this is not my main focus, obviously, because when you start to grow that ecosystem, you hire staff, you have people doing things for you, you can outsource or delegate some tasks, and some of those websites, they are almost passive. So when you create a website, you put the logo, you put some text, you do the SEO, then you get that website that is maybe on the first page of Google when people are typing something. So after a while, you don't need to work so hard. Maybe once a month, 2 times per month, you can check a bit, you can add one content, you can maybe go to a new site and put a link to your website to boost a little bit the ranking, but you don't have so much work to do. And that's why while doing this, I could explore other opportunities in Asia and move to Asia. So move to Asia today, this is my main focus. And I plan over the next years to really put more and more energy to grow that ecosystem, that network of partners, build different services, and basically provide more to the people who want to come to Asia physically, or who also want to come here and maybe expand their business or invest in this part of the world. So move to Asia, this is not something that I created in 5 minutes, right? And I didn't have that idea when I was in Paris. It just came with the experience and with the knowledge I acquired here in Asia, but as well as all the digital background and skills that I work on over the last years. So if you want to start something now, I would really even invite you to start today. And there is a famous saying that the best day to invest was yesterday and the second best day is today. So if you want to do that, if you want to start to think outside of the box and build something for your own, you should start to implement some first actions today. And then don't be impatient. Don't think that things will come very fast. And there is this rule, and I think this is the third lesson that I learned, is the 90 days rule. So the 90 days rule is something that many entrepreneurs are sharing about, is that usually when you want to do something different than what you were doing before, after 90 days you can have a good idea if that may work. So either you start something totally from scratch, and then after 90 days you start to build an audience. For instance, if you build a YouTube channel or if you are selling products online, you may already have your first customer. If you are doing SEO, it's the same. After 3-4 months, you should already have some traffic, so some people coming to your website. And if you are just doing, I don't know, normal business, right, outside, like going out there, meet people and then selling offline services, then I guess after 3 months, you already know if your idea of business may work or no. And then after those 3 months, you can tell yourself either it worked, then I put more time, or it seems to work a little bit, then I'm going to dedicate another 3 months, or I think this is totally a dead end and then I didn't have any very good feedback from the market, then I should just find something else. So right now, if you are probably having different skills, right? You have maybe also things that you would want to do online. And nowadays there is a lot of information online. We heard about dropshipping, trading Bitcoin, doing some website, SEO, digital marketing, building your agency. You have a lot of things to do. So you can start to do something that you feel more familiar with, or you have some network already in that field. You can start from there, and then based on the first result that you will get in the first month, you can find if you continue in that direction or if you make a total switch. And this is the journey I've been through. So I recap. The number one, I asked for a part-time job for my previous boss. The number two, I failed. I had up and down in my previous startup, and this roller coaster helped me to acquire a lot of skills. Then the third thing is that I keep and I nurture a network around myself of people who were into that digital industry. So while I move overseas, I could get a first customer, and I was somehow half secure, right, to get an earning coming from overseas. And then the last item I share now, give yourself time and allow yourself some failure and allow yourself to experiment before finding something that really matches with what you have inside, what you know how to do, and what people are willing to pay for. And this is finally what the Ikigai is saying. It's basically finding something that you could have a certain product market fit that match with what you know to do now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it gave you a clearer understanding about how can you move from a corporate to a full-time entrepreneur position. I said before, the life is never a line. You will always have a roller coaster as an entrepreneur, but for me, I feel that this is the part of the journey. This is what is the most enjoyable after a while when you look back where you were 3, 4, 5 years ago, and when you see that, wow, it has been such an amazing journey. At that time, it was very challenging, but it helped me to see that. And then after a while, you're finally very happy with that kind of struggle that you had or failure, and you see it from a very different angle. Now go to the comment below and tell me, what do you think about the advice, tips, and insights I share in this video? Maybe you have another way of seeing that journey from an employee to an entrepreneur, so I'm willing to hear your thoughts so you can discuss together below. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And I'ma get it right, dead on sight like